I'm leaving for the US in the morning. Well, please, we know why. I stopped wondering why a long time ago, and I started answering my own questions. So, because you know the why. Like when I used to say, why does this keep happening to me? Like, girl, you know the why. You just don't want to look at the answer. And yeah, I'm going to the US tomorrow, feeling a lot of dread. I don't think that what's going to come, because I'm supposed to be there for a month, and a month is a long time. A lot can happen and will happen in a month. We've been watching this genocide for 76 days, 77 now. Too many. Over 2 months. Does it feel like it's been 2 months? Because it's been over 2 months of this escalating and escalating, getting worse and worse. And every time we think it can't get worse, it does get worse. And I'm gonna cheers to Yemen. I'm gonna drink to Yemen because Yemen is the only country currently on this earth that is trying to stop this ethnic cleansing that is happening in Palestine. And I saw reports about this earlier. Basically, part of the reason why the United States and Israel is so invested in continuing on with this genocide, in clearing out all of the people, and not only building luxury apartment complexes. I know you saw this on my Instagram if you're following my Instagram, but they also want to create another route that doesn't go through the canal that it goes through now, because the canal is narrow. There's a drought happening there. It's all connected. There's a drought happening there, so it's taking even longer for ships to get through, and it's already so narrow, so only so many can go through at a time. And they wanted to construct like a mega. It's America and it's Israel, you know. They want to demolish everything and create their own route for shipping and profits and money and guys. And Yemen is like, no. You know, they're not going to start World War III, but they're not going to let Israel and the United States continue with this genocide. They are isolated on the world stage. I don't know if people know what that means, isolated on the world stage. Like, people in the US get to live in this bubble, and they don't understand like what the perception of them is like from the outside the bubble, what it looks like over here.
Right? It's sad that I'm scared. Like, I'm terrified to go there for a lot of reasons, and that's one of them.
Globally, not inside the bubble of the United States, is not looking great for America. And I gotta go there. See what I'm saying? It's hard. I almost canceled, but I'm not. I'm gonna go. Everything's gonna be fine. You know, my arm's tired. You know, my shoulders are bad. You know, normally I have a format for this where it's just me talking, usually. And for the upcoming episodes, I am going to be silent. I had a video call with my dear friend. We're both Americans living outside of the US, one intentionally and the other not, ultimately by force. And we have a conversation about life. But in true fashion, my part wasn't recorded because I guess you're tired of hearing me talk. So it's just gonna be her. It's just going to be her voice, and I'm going to do my best to edit it to be entertaining still, obviously. That's all I'm doing is being entertaining. Hopefully.
Got my wine, girl. Thank you. Cheers. Cheers. Thank you, girl. How are you? How was your day? I met one person when we went out the other day or last week. I met one person who spoke English. And he's like, I've been here for 10 years because he understood us speaking. He's like, you guys are not from here. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm from Florida, Floridian. And he was like, he was talking about this was a nice place, but not to raise a family. He's like, you cannot raise a family in this country. Yeah. He was like, trying to get something to hold my phone holder down. He was like, it's a nice place, but he recognized right away that we were foreigners. Tony doesn't even look Ecuadorian. He doesn't look Ecuadorian. They all look so well. You saw the Ecuadorians here. They all look so different. Tony's all tattooed up, so he looks completely. He looks not with. He's tall and he's skinnier now. He's cooking right now. It smells so good. I'm so hungry. I'm really not. So I'm more of a sides person. I don't like to really eat meat. I'm like, I know it's like weird. I've never met anybody like that. They're like, what do you mean you don't like meat? I'm like, I prefer on Thanksgiving, I'm like shoving my plate with a bunch of sides and not the meat. They're like, what's wrong with you? Not really. I just don't like the way that they cook it here. They don't even have wonton soup here, girl. I don't. I like wonton soup. They don't sell. I haven't had it in like 10 years, 11 years. No, I haven't had it. No, it's so expensive. Everything is so expensive in the States now. Like, you remember when you used to be able to get like a whole Chinese dinner for like $9? Now it's like $15. Now it's like $15. It's just like we're almost there. We're almost to the finish line. We got this court date next month, and then we go from there and see what happens. But I really feel like this, I would say spring, we're going to be home. That's how I feel. But it's sad that I have to keep it quiet. So I need to find something. I need to find work and maybe go back to school if I can manage both, like going back to school and going to work. I need to work is what I need to do. That's my number one priority is going there to work. I told Tony, like, I don't care if you work. Like, I don't want him to work. I'd rather work. I'm the one that likes to go out of the house to do things, and he loves taking care of the kids. I don't love it. I don't love, and I hate to say it like that, but like, I don't love being domestic. I love baking and stuff like that, but I don't cook. I can't really, I can do laundry, but I don't here. He loves doing all these things. That's what I want. I told Tony, I said, I'm so pumped up. I was like, I can't wait to go work. He goes, I can't put that. This was this morning. He's like, I can't put that on you. And I'm like, but this is what I want. Like, I'm pumped up to do this. I want you to home, taking care of the kids when they get home from school, like taking care of them. I'm not saying I'm not going to take care of them, but obviously I'm going to go out, work, hopefully go back to school. I want to go for my PCT, maybe patient care technician. I'm ready, girl. I'm ready to start this new chapter about it. But it is though, like any job nowadays is important. It's hard to find, it's hard to find it. And minimum wage went up, right, in the States, but the price of living also went up. One of my friends, her husband makes 70,000 a year, and she's still struggling. Still, right? Not anymore. It's sad that I'm scared. Like, I'm terrified to go there for a lot of reasons, and that's one of them. It's because obviously I'm here, but I'm not making it. I'm not finding work. I'm not finding jobs online. I need jobs where I can go to these jobs and physically work because that's what they want. And it scares me because I'm like, what if I go there and I get like stuck? What if I can't rely? I've never relied on the system to help me or anything like that. I've never gotten food stamps. I've gotten Medicaid for the kids, but I've never gotten like food stamps or cash assistance or anything like that. So I'm not planning on really getting it. I don't know if I qualify. So I am scared. That's another thing is I'm scared to go there to have to deal with the amount of money that's going to be put out just to live month to month. I want to just pick up my house and bring it with me. It's such a pretty house. It's such a beautiful house. We saved up to buy like the couch and stuff like that, and the dining room table, and we saved up like a little here and there to buy little things to make it feel a little bit homey. But like it was the reason that we got into this house is because the pandemic. She really needed to rent it out. Nobody was renting anything. She's like 500 a month. 500 a month for a 3 bedroom, 3 bathroom, laundry room. I'm like, we got to do it. We have to. So we did it. And now they're raising the rent in May, but I won't be here, hopefully. So they're raising the rent because they put in different security cameras and different security gates because of that guy who got shot on the staircase that we took the pictures. It's, I'm not lying. It's not funny. It's just, it's not. It took a death for them to do that, though. Right after you left too, and then right after you left, somebody got shot right out of your right outside the hotel you were staying at. Hmm. By the park. Tony did that. With the iguanas, Tony's like, I'm so happy she wasn't here for that. Girl, when you left, it started turning to shit again. It's like when you were here, it seemed okay, right? It seemed okay. It seemed all right. Yeah, it has so much, it has so much potential. And the other day, they went into these gang members went into a house and they killed a family of four. One of them, a 7-month-old baby. How do you just kill a 7-month-old baby? And you know what they realized afterward? They got the wrong family. A whole innocent baby, 7 months old. How do you shoot a 7-month-old baby? Like, how do you shoot anybody for a baby? Like, I just couldn't even imagine. And I just want to hug and grab all these kids that I see in the streets, you know? Like, I just want to love on them. I know you feel the same way. You just want to love on all these kids. I don't get it either, girl. I really don't. I saw one video that really just broke my heart. It was in Gaza, and it was of this little boy, and his brother got killed in one of the explosions, his little brother. And he was screaming at the camera. He was so hurt and so devastated, and he was just crying. And I was sobbing. Like when I was sobbing watching the video, he wanted to, they were burying, they censored it, but he was burying, they were burying his little brother. And it was just so sad. He wanted to be buried with him. He's like, just bury me with him. Just bury me with him. And I was just sobbing. I was like, I can't. Like, I just can't believe this is happening. I wouldn't have known really what was going on until you brought it to my attention because none of my friends, but one yesterday, finally somebody spoke out, one of my friends on her. And I was just like, thank you for speaking out on it. I said, because you're the first person on my timeline that has spoke actually about this and what's going on. And they were saying like boycott Starbucks. Girl, I'm boycotting Starbucks. I'm like, I don't want Starbucks. Like they're like boycott Starbucks. Um, and it was just somebody finally spoke about it, but I wouldn't have known about it. Everything that's going on, being in this little bubble here of violence, I would have stayed in this bubble until you opened it up to me and told me like this is what's going on. Now they're attacking. Did you see where they took those men and stripped them down again? It doesn't. That when I saw that, I was like, I thought it was unbelievable. When I saw that, I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. When you think they can't go low, they go lower. But no, it's no, it's serious. Like it's very serious, and I think a lot of people don't understand, and they're like, we stand with Israel. Like like they're firing people like for example, I know it's just a movie, but like the girl from the Scream, this from the Scream movie, she spoke out against it and they're just like, you're fired. No more for you. And I don't even know if there I don't think there's gonna be another movie because I think that I think that Nev Campbell will say, like, we're not coming back because now they want to bring Nev Campbell back in. And I hope she says no. They should just leave it where it's at. I know Tara, with Jenna's going to say Tara, Jenna Ortega, she opted out too. And she's like, no, she didn't give a reason because she was probably scared to give a reason. So she didn't give a reason, but she followed her, her castmate and was like, no. And I hope the rest of them follow in their footsteps and do the same thing. It's not fair at all. We were like set up to fail. Yeah, you know what we were talking about earlier. If it doesn't work out in the U.S., the next place would be Mexico. Yeah, for business purposes, it's a really good idea to be closer to the US. And I know that you have to think about you as an individual, but then you also have to think about you as a business. So it's hard. I can't imagine what you go through making these little decisions that you have to make, like what to post, what not to post. I know it's really, really difficult. But I think that if it doesn't work out in the US, that we'll end up in Mexico. Girl, maybe we'll end up in Mexico together. I'm going to go there. I'm going to try. I'm going to test the waters, see what happens. I don't see Florida being a place where I'd want to stay. There's a lot of people who are just, I know it's everywhere. There's a lot of racism in Florida. And Tony was always targeted there for being Hispanic, always targeted just because of his name. Yeah, in Miami, there's a big population of Hispanic people in Miami. I don't like to live in that area because it's so expensive there too. And like they make it like ridiculously priced. But there is, and there's still just so much racism there. Isn't it a red state? I can't stand it. Definitely. That's crazy. See, that's what I don't want to be there. Like I was telling my mom, I don't want to be there. And she's like, I'd rather be in North Carolina, which is North Carolina a red state too? That is so sad. Like that's the thing with me. I was talking to my mom about it earlier. Like I need to get my tubes tied immediately. Immediately. Because I'm like, if I get pregnant, which I don't want any more kids, I'm freaking done. Like I'm overdone, well done. So I'm like, if I, I'm like, well done. Yeah. So I'm like, I want to get my tubes tied, like I really do. And she's like, if it's medically necessary, they will help you pay for it. And I said, it is because I will die. Like I will literally die. And if God forbid, it was so scary. It was done. The doctor said, no more. This is it. Your second C-section. You're done. 4 kids. You're done. I said, oh, I'm definitely done. So I was telling her earlier, I mean, honestly, if I were to get pregnant, which I'm not, if I were to get pregnant, I would have to have an abortion. I would have to. I'm not saying that I'm being irresponsibly having unprotected sex or anything like that. But I'm married, obviously, as you know. So I'm not trying to get pregnant, nor would I, but I would have to have an abortion because my body can't take it. And I used to be one of the people who were so against abortion. Like, you know that I believe in God. You know that I believe in Jesus. You know that. So, like, I used to be like, oh my God, you can't have abortion, blah, 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 blah. You can't do this. This is not right. But now that I'm older and a lot wiser than I was before, I'm like, this needs to be done. It's the women's right to choose whether she wants to have this baby or not. If you're not in a situation where you can take care of a child, or simply you just don't want a freaking child, you should be able to choose that. And you can't do that in a lot of places. I don't know about Florida. It's completely, I just don't understand. And now that I'm an adult, like now that when I was younger, I used to be like, oh, I'll never have an abortion. That's why I had a kid. I'm glad I don't regret any of my children. I don't regret them at all. But with Zoe, it was like I was forced to make a decision that I wasn't ready to make. And I did, like, I prayed on it and I'm like, what do I do? And I decided to keep her, but they wanted me to secretly have an illegal abortion here where I could potentially get arrested. Yeah. Because here, if you have an abortion, you get arrested and the doctor gets arrested. Tony's doctor, I mean, my doctor, Tony's cousin, was like, you need to have an abortion. I'll have somebody else do it. And I was like, no, I can't do it. Like, I just feel like I can't. I had already heard the baby's heartbeat. You know what I mean? Like, I can't do this. But if I, But if I did, it was either my life, her life, both of our lives, or thank God we both survived it. But it was like I didn't really have a choice. I was scared that I would go to jail if I had an abortion. I was like, I'm scared. I'll go to jail. And I kept it a secret just the whole time because, girl, you went through it. You went through it with me. I thought I was going to die. I thought I was going to die. And women don't have that right here to say, I want an abortion. I can't do this. And that's why there's so many homeless kids on the street begging for money. You go to every street corner here and you see somebody, there's children working on the street. It shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't, but it is. And I'm not saying all these kids should have been aborted, but that's no life to live. I'm going to ask Tony if he can bring me wine. I didn't bring the whole bottle because I wanted it to get cold. When I'm going to say, can you bring wine? I'm going to text him and see. He's cooking. Oh, it smells so good. And when I drink a little wine, I get so hungry. Like, I get the munchies. It's going to be them. It's $10. I was like, I'm gonna have to stop smoking when I get home because it's so expensive there. And they deliver it to your house. They deliver it right to your house. In Ecuador, they just deliver it to my house. So all I have to pay is I do a bank transfer for $10 and they deliver it right to your. Yeah. Yes. Oh my God. I was so happy to get wine. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get some wine. I'm gonna be happy with it. So it's awesome. It's really today was a good day. It was a good day. And I'm going to get to eat food. I got paid. So I'm happy. I'm happy. Every year. But I know, you know what? I think that this really 2024 is going to be it. I think it, fingers crossed that it's going to be it. But I see so much potential of what's going to happen to you. Like you've built up this business, right? From the very bottom. You went to Mexico, you did all this stuff. And it's just like, I'm so mesmerized by everything that you've done. I always told Tony, I said, she's ballsy. She's got balls. I said, she's so ballsy. You go to these different countries. You went to Egypt by yourself, girl. Like, I'm like, she does all these things by herself and she's just not afraid to do it. I need to be more like that. No, you need it though. Like, you have accomplished, like, honestly, like, I look up to you. I look up to you and I keep the boss thing separate. Like work is work. You know what I mean? Like you're my boss. So work is work and friendship is friendship. So it's two different things. Like I don't ever get mad when you say do this or do that. I don't get mad. Like when yesterday you said this is gonna sound bossy, but it's not bossy to me. You know what I mean? It's a business. So like I just admire everything that you've done. You've traveled the world. You've traveled so many places. You've done so many things. I am so proud of everything you've done. I mean it. Like I really, you've done so much. You've helped so many people. Tony was saying earlier, I was like, I'm going to go talk to Sarita for a little bit. We're going to chit chat. I'm going to drink some wine. And he's like, no problem. He goes, you know what? He goes, she does for my kids. Look at everything that she's done for my kids. I would never, Tony really said this, I would never deny her anything. Like Tony has so much respect for you. He knows that you've always been there for me. You've always been there for my kids. Like I was telling him earlier, I was like, she's been that person that I don't feel uncomfortable around. I don't feel like, oh, I have to be somebody else. You're really the only person that I can actually open up fully to and be like, this is what's happening in my life. I don't have anybody else like that. I smoke weed. Like, my friends don't know. My friends don't know because they look at weed like, oh, how do you smoke weed? But they don't understand. They're like, how do you not have money, but then you smoke weed? And it's like, well, sometimes my boss provides a weed bonus. So I'm like, a weed and wine bonus. So I'm like, well, it's $10 and it lasts you forever. Girl, can I put this on here or I can't? Can I show you this or I can't? It's weed. $10, girl. $10. And it's sitting there just waiting for me. 10 bucks. $10. $10. Girl, 10, yes. You do everything. You do everything. You're doing so good with the business. I'm so proud. Remember when it first started out and it was just so scary? It was scary for me and it wasn't even my business. And Monita Tequila, yes, girl. It was awesome. I tried, well, obviously, I've tried it with food and stuff like that, but you saw me try it in the video. He loves it. He's going to be like, what am I going to do when I run out of tequila? He's like, what am I going to do? So we'll have to get another bottle here, or we'll get another bottle when we get home. Girl, I want to order all the merchandise from your site. I want the tumbler. Tony didn't get my wine memo, so now I'm going to text Elijah. Can you bring me, not Elijah to bring me wine? Yeah, I know, right? It's like, where are you guys with my wine at? Deliver me some wine. Tony didn't need it. I do too. Yeah, I need the princess treatment. I really do need it. And Elijah was just online, so it was perfect. So he'll see it. So, you guys, I finally got all of our presents wrapped. So that's done. Everything's done. I'm trying. I'm like really trying. They're not getting that much this year because
Oh, yeah. And Christmas is canceled in Bethlehem. I don't know if you saw this. But the birthplace of Jesus has canceled Christmas. How does that feel? How does it feel that Israel is bombing the birthplace of Jesus leading up to Christmas? Listen, this is a fight against capitalism. Okay? And capitalism is not just a word. It's not just an image of like old white men. There is actual power in our existence, but also in our money. Listen, everything's going to be fine, okay? Everything's going to be fine. At some point, you'll be able to go back to doing the most for Christmas. But like this year, why don't you just hang out in your comfy clothes, chill, spend time with those you love, and just don't do a lot. Please. I get it. You still want to celebrate the season. But really think about what you are celebrating it for.
she really, yeah, she was amazing. Like your mom was just absolutely amazing. When I would need somebody to talk to because she knew that I didn't have a lot of family there for me. Like, I didn't and I felt so alone. So when your mom would just talk to me, she'd send me messages. Her daily messages in the morning used to really light up my feed. You know what I mean? It would get me to start my day, to get my day. She would always start it out with so much positivity. And I remember one year in your mom, this is when I was still in the States and I had nothing for the kids for Christmas. I had nothing. And she was like, we were living in a hotel. And she was like, I'm going to just send you a box of goodies, of stuff for them. And she did. And it was so sweet. It was like the sweetest thing ever. So she went out and she picked up this stuff and she put it in a box and she sent it over. And the kids went through the box and they were just so excited. And then when I got pregnant here with Louise, she also sent a few things, which was super sweet. So I was like, oh my God, your mom was a blessing. And that's what when I lost, well, obviously, you lost your mom. But when your mom passed, I was like, who do I have now that's a part of her? And then we started talking and it was like, oh, this is amazing. I was so glad.